Hey, good morning. Happy Monday. It'll gap up. Look, the numbers look like something, and then as always, you look at the chart and see where they're gapping to. So, look, Friday's big bar, options related, or that going to peter out again, gapping to the top of the trading range. Clearly, we've got this bottoming pattern here. We did put them up, Dan. It's not showing. Version, signal. Are they showing? So I have it full. There we go. Okay, cool. Yeah. So what I was saying, you get up in the morning, where are things at, right? You see up a couple 100 points. Okay, that's what's supposed to happen after Friday's rally. Now we've got this wide range bar, and some of our conversations over the last week or so, trying to figure out what the heck is going on here in this back and forth market. One comment was, could this be forming a head and shoulders bottom? I'd say we've got that at this point, right? Here's the head, that gap down. Here's the left shoulder. And now that we've got this wide range bar, there's the right shoulder. And now the question is, can it take out this resistance area? With prices gapping up here, we've got this straight up rally that occurred on Friday, right? No low pivots on the 15-minute chart, which is an indication of strong demand and the continued move up with very little or no pullbacks, more of kind of like little bull flag kind of things or little continuation patterns and such. So you got this rally, and now buying a gap up from a very short time frame, and we're looking at here intraday, I would see that as being a novice gap from this time frame. Now, from this time frame, the daily time frame, and of course the weekly time frame, having come down here, and this is what looks like a little downside shakeout, and back up again, what I would expect to happen is either sideways price action, minor pullback. I've got 370 mark just as kind of a halfway point in the rally there. There's really no actual support. This minor support, maybe it holds, but that would be a pretty decent pullback as well, gapping up into this range here. We got the resistance obviously there, and then of course up above is the void, which has got to get through to suggest a move up toward the 50 in this 390 area, which is aligned with this pivot. And we all know there's news coming out, earnings coming out, and all that. That's going to affect things. So far, price action is bullish. There was the overnight move down, pivot, and a little bit of what I wrote about in this chart of the week. You can go check that out on the website. But creating support and then the retest, little buy setup there if you're up early on. And now we've got a high pivot resistance and at this resistance area. So I would suspect it's going to be a little, chop first thing here, but we'll see how this acts and how this pattern sets up. I'm not so anxious to jump on board here. Give it a little bit to see where things go, since it had this big rally, wide range bar, right? Momentum move in a smaller time frame. There it is, right out of the course of what we talk about on a day-to-day basis when we look at price patterns and voids and such. So at this point, gapping to resistance, but we need to see, again, building that support area that can go higher. We call it creating support, absorbing supply, different ways of looking at the same thing with different explanations to bring clarity to the concepts as to what we're looking for. Bottom line, we're looking for bullish price action at resistance so prices could break out above this range based on this bigger pattern. All right, let's take a look at the futures. And you can see with the overnight data there, gapping up toward that resistance area and the rally, and little pivot action there. Let's back this up a little bit. You see the congestion over there. So it's going to be a little tricky, and, wide range bar on the weekly, on the daily. So maybe a little backing and filling here prior to waiting for the news. And so SPX, which I'm not too excited about today, tell you the truth. But just look how far away can we get. And so this isn't bad, right? 38.55, right? Since it's gapping to resistance. Tired or tricky? Let's fast forward 12 months. Okay, let's do the Rip Van Winkle thing, and someone will have to wake us up, Alex. I don't know. Hey, look, maybe we can speculate about why the markets are showing this strength right now, right? In part, maybe it's looking forward to this midterm election in the next 2 weeks, 15 days, whatever it is. And, government being neutralized by a red wave in the Senate and House. And now, government's hands tied. Market likes that, government being neutral. And so maybe, one of the things that I thought, well, a few things we're always thinking, right? But one of the things that jumped out at me last week was, hey, these short-term interest rates are ripping higher and the market is ignoring that. That run up, and it's like, okay, that typically would have the markets moving lower, because it's saying the Fed they're going to raise 3/4, and could they go for a point and just, put a fork in this thing, it's done, as the expression goes, and then they would back off for a while and no one would have to worry about that, as the Fed would back off and say, hey, let's see what happens here, as things begin to slow down. It would be a few things. Then we had the dollar, backing off. Where are you, dollar? Here we go. On Friday. And that was a big motivator to, the rally. So we had this intermarket relationship where the dollar's just been sideways here for a while, and that's how the market's gone sideways. So you can see I can overlay the charts, but there's an inverse relationship, which is pretty tight at this point in time. So the markets rallied and the dollar came down. The dollar is gapping up here a little bit, but no big deal. And so even with it gapping up a bit, markets are up and they're up at resistance. So got this sideways consolidation, the slowing momentum, because Fed started dovish comments. I don't disagree with you, Rob. Whatever is Mary's had dovish comments, and now the market has been what I've coined as schizophrenic. So you have others making hawkish comments, and institutions are hanging on every word, trying to figure it out, like all of us with this chop. And so maybe that's the case, and then the next inflation thing comes out and they flip to something else. And that's kind of what this market has been about, flipping in one direction, flipping in the other direction. That schizophrenic type of price action. So here it was trending down, and there was obviously the gap down to 3,500. Now it's at the top of the range. And what's the factory work? Well, head and shoulders bottom. Can it go sideways here at resistance and then move up to the next level? So, we have to balance our thoughts, our trading between news and patterns, right? So this has been quite a news-driven market, and it's hard to ignore the news because it has such a adverse or good effect on almost a moment-to-moment basis. And that's what makes for this sporadic kind of trading where, things look like they're going to go down and then gap reversals and then gap up and then gap up and pull back down. And, it's a picture of uncertainty. I was going to use the word crazy, but it's a picture of uncertainty. And as we look at the chart, it displays to us what institutions and others are thinking and what they're experiencing. And so this is a picture right now of uncertainty, whereas where it's going down like that, that's a picture of certainty. There's one pivot on the way down. That's a continuation pattern. Here there was rally into resistance and sellers showed up right there. That's a picture of certainty. There's a breakdown. It rallies to resistance. Sellers are going to be there. It goes back down. It comes greater than 100% retracement. And can it bounce back up? It gets slammed back down again. And now it's down enough in a short period of time where there's stabilization. And of course, over here, it took out this pivot high, which is like, okay, breaking the downtrend. Now it goes back down again. Now it's a relatively deep retracement. So however you look at it, it's a picture at this point in the last month or so of uncertainty, which makes for extremely slim pickings for directional trading. It's good for credit spreads, but as far as directional trading goes, it's not so good, other than, intraday. And at times you don't get too many of these nice trends either. So it hasn't been such a, no-brainer environment. That's for sure. So anyway, getting above here, 38.55, I think at least for the morning, that could be something that to consider. That let me just put it up here. Put exactly where that is, which is there still juice there? Probably. It's up near that pivot, so a little below it. You can see my cursor moving, so that's pretty good. 36.75. Yeah, I had 36.80 and then 75. So 36. It shouldn't go down there, obviously, because look, it's gapping up here, right? It's gapping up here. And to come down below 3,700, that shouldn't happen after a day like this, which is bullish bar. It creates a void. Buyers need to step up. So that's a good level. That's a good level. They're both good levels. So it's going to be at resistance, and it's what was resistance? I had 38.55 written down, which is a decent level. You can see 38.55. I'm moving this down a little bit right there, which puts it into those overlapping bars over right here, into that range. So, I mean, it's gapping here, and then it's got to run up there. So obviously what we do is we look to see what's it going to do at the open. Right now it's just jiggling around here. It created a pivot. That's resistance. It pulled back. You see these overlapping bars here lined up with that minor support. It pulled back here, popped back up. Maybe there's a trader pivot line there. I don't know. But when you've got a pivot that close, there's going to be sellers there. And so look, if it can chop around here, that opens up the door to breaking out. So that's what you got to wait for. Not wait. It's up. You could do one contract or two. If you normally do 4 or whatever, or do 2, do 1, and then see if it rallies up. Grab some of this juice at 38.60. Yeah. So the further away we can get, the better. And that's too far up there. We're looking at the futures there. It's still into that range. That's good. Look, assuming this pattern follows through, an upside target at 3,900, the 50 MA, this pivot, you've got a whole number, you got a moving average, you got a pivot there, and we'll see if it actually follows through with all the news and such that's coming out. Right. Q's not looking so robust as the S&Ps. You've had the financials, which helped move this along. The bigs are over. Now this week there's regionals, there's insurers. And so, this is looking pretty neutral. So it doesn't look like it's not going to get help from the tech sector here, as everybody waits for all those earnings to come out this week. So that call side is looking pretty good. That S&Ps can't get up that far, and NASDAQ isn't going to be helping it. Right? That's actually trading under its open price, getting a little bit of a red candle body there. And same pattern backing off there. Yeah, there's a huge amount of earnings coming out this week for sure. Now the Dow has been the strongest. It already got through its 50 MA and this resistance there. And there's a bunch of Dow stocks. I listed them in the letter over the weekend, but there's a good amount of Dow stocks coming out reporting earnings this week. So you should check that out. But this has been showing strength. Clearly, it's gotten through the 50 already. Just a simple way of looking at relative strength. Where is this index relative to its resistance and moving average? And it's got room to go up. These earnings are going to affect it, but just looking at the chart, if they're good, this could get up to the 200. We'll see. And, small caps are messy. Bitcoin still doing absolutely zippo, just hanging down here. You can see all the bodies lined up doing nothing, and now the 50 MA is coming over the top. So volatility, one way of looking at volatility is the distance between moving averages. And here they were far apart because of this big whip up and down, and now they're getting closer together. So Bitcoin, in the coming days or weeks, should be reaching some kind of an inflection point here that it's going to move. And of course, dollar was down, this went up. It's at support, just being at a support area, prior pivot. It was pretty messy. And gold, same story, just almost an exact inverse relationship on Friday. Dollar down, gold up. But not, is it ready? I don't know. I'm not interested just yet. And crude oil, pretty messy, but look, the energy stocks were the place last week. Right? Amazing. OIH, got room to run up. Look at that breakout. XES looks the same. Looks amazing. And they have room to go up. So still these are the only sectors up on the year. Institutions coming back. So until proven otherwise, that looks like it's going up to the prior highs. And interest rates of 10-year, just up a little, no big deal, but backed off last week. But you got the wide range bar suggesting maybe the end here, or at least some consolidation. And that's good for the markets. So we'll see how the week unfolds. Lots of news, lots of earnings, and day to day. See you, Dan.
Good morning. One sec, I was grabbing on the screen here. So yeah, we were very bullish based on the close. I said provided we had follow through, which we are. I was preferring an inside day to get a 1, 2, 3. Market doesn't care about me, but we did add a bunch of nice trades, credit spreads and so forth. No, I just was sneezing all morning, so yeah, my voice does sound a little weird because of a little allergy. But no, yeah, I'm not sick. Feel great. I was actually just looking at Deer and Cat here. They have earnings this week, but this is a great example of the A/B test. So spiders, we did a put spread on this Friday. Diamonds put spread. I mean, we're bullish across the board. We still are short Carvana. And this looks fantastic. What a weak animal this is. Look at that. That is a nasty downtrend. Yeah, the whole sector, Cliff, AA, NUE, we have a directional that's acting fantastic. Tosco put spread. I think we can find a lot better. Actually, McGraw, that could be a condor. Go through the checklist. That's a condor setup. 180s and 210s. So China is getting whacked. Xi Jinping nominated himself again president, and that's just he's a dictator and pushed out the number 2 in line. And so, we all know painfully well dealing with Chinese stocks inherently has gap risk because they don't value capitalism the way we do in the US. No, I just read that the whatever number 2, they said no, not going to even recognize them. So China stocks here are getting crushed today. FXI is the China ETF. KWEB is it's like our FDN in the US. That's their KWEB. But look at the monthly. Wow, $100 down to sub 19. So they're and I don't know if EMC is gapping down for the same reason. This is their Chinese brand of our restaurants. That's getting whacked. There's KWEB. Look at this, JD down almost 20%. So believe it or not, and there's going to be high risk, but some of these could be gap and snaps. So let's. I'm not going to do anything here at the open on these in particular, but I got a bunch of them here. Just kidding. Even these our U.S. gambling stocks, Milco, Win. They're all taking a hit here, and the EV stocks. Look at NEO, XPEV. This EDU is a China education company. HTHT, PDD. Look at that, down 10-20%. All right. So anyway, we'll come back to that sector. Tesla. Exactly, Alex. No democracy. Exactly. You don't have democracy. Exactly right. Yeah, Ty. We'll come 10 o'clock. We'll go through that list again. I'm just going to ignore them here for the first half hour. Tesla. There was some news of they're lowering the prices in China. There was some type of mention on this in Barron's. This is kind of like do or die here. I mean, it's a potential double bottom, but it's still fighting a power bigger downtrend. Like GDS, I don't know if this is related to China. Futu is down $6, 20%. Man, getting killed. PCVX, this obviously looks like a bio stock, gapping up to $35. COP, I have we got obviously have the majority bullish trade setups here. I have a ton of them gapping over their entries, and so that's what I'm going to be focused on at the open, is to see which ones are still good. So COP, we gave as a naked put trade. We have a couple other oil stocks open. MRO being one of them. Look at that, beautiful. We're long stock and short put spread. All right, enough of that. Let me jump back up here now. Moss. breakout. So I posted this as a put spread idea, 50 under 50 for Friday. MRO, I'm sorry, ANF, nice spot. Yeah, we actually, this was a prior week's letter. We're trying to short naked puts, and the gap up made it where we didn't get the credit. But sure, you can watch it. RTX, a lot of the other military stocks rocked already last week. But this one I like the best as a new trade because it's gone sideways here with a price void, sideways at resistance. So I'm going to set an alarm at 90.50. Actually, and also I'm going to set one at 89 into the gap fill. HI. Oh yeah, no worries, Alex. HI. I think I found this by accident. I had a typo, and I'm like, oh, this looks good. This is a bottoming pattern. Let's might be a no-brainer put spread if there's anything at 38s. All right, Airbnb. Let's go through these now. They previously were gapping up. So this is a put spread over Friday's high. So let me go through some of these right now, actually, because my alarms were going off earlier. On target, so that one is gapping over it. Disney, say gapping over, but now pulling in. So I'm going to reset the alarm. Disney, what number do we have you at? Over 102.30. All right, you are set. Oh, it is okay. Well, so Disney's not up a lot. So that one, I think 5-minute high is good to go, as long as the markets aren't retracing. Stocks, put spread idea. This is just a different one of SMH. And I was shocked. The spreads were pretty tight. Mr. Alarm just went off. So on the put spreads, as long as you can get the posted limit, then I'm good to go. So this was a put spread idea, Mr. That's good to go. MU. All right, so MU 5-minute high is good to go. So I'm going to start typing a list here. So MU, Apple, that's 5-minute high is good to go. BlackRock. BlackRock, let's wait for a pullback, but that was a directional. All right, this is what I'm just focusing on right now at the open. Bravo Papa. That's good to go, 5-minute high, or that one's 5-minute high or into gap fill. Either one on that pattern is good. WBA. That one's fine too. Disney's fine. So say that these are not excessive gaps. What I don't like is the four horsemen pulling in, kind of accelerating to the downside here a little bit. Q's coming in the hardest. All right, so but these look fine, 5-minute highs. Disney, Cop, Cisco, see that gap's too big, so that one you gotta wait for the gap fill. And IWM was a put spread. All right, so that one might get filled here. But I don't like the way it's coming in so hard. So yeah, let's hold off on the video. The video IWM hold off. Target. Target, let's with the market falling, I don't want to buy. It looks great. If it's a, let's see, was this a directional or put spread? All right, okay, target was a put spread, so that's good to go. Dell, good to go.